This your boy Doc Holiday. We back with another show, HBCU Overdrive. Man, just let y'all know, I thank y'all for the support that y'all giving me right now. I thank for all the people that's subscribing, that's continuing to look at the shows that I have going on. And I got more that's coming up to play. But just be on the lookout whenever I get a chance to do that. So basically, if you haven't seen it, the show basically deals with HBCU sports and HBCU culture. So it doesn't have to deal with anything like football or basketball, nothing like that. It can also deal with bands, sororities, fraternities, also just different entities within the HBCU society. And also the show deals with basically anybody that came from an HBCU, that's at an HBCU, and is making a difference in today's society. Well, I'll talk about that. But if you haven't got a chance to, go ahead and like the show, comment on what you want to see, what you don't want to see, what should be the next topic, what I talk about. Share with your people, and most importantly, subscribe. Make sure everybody subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. And get on down. Right now, I'm getting the basic is moving on track, and hopefully we'll get to that point where this blows up, and you never know, the sky's the limit. So my basic announcement, everybody should know, that I do interviews with coaches, ADs, if you want to be presidents, anybody in the HBCU realm. I do interviews. If you want to go ahead and see where to hit me up so we could talk about doing interviews at, you could go to my Twitter page at HBCU_overdrive. Again, that's HBCU_overdrive. I have a link down below where y'all could but y'all could come and check it out and put your info in there. I also have a special segment called Friday Flowers. I do this every Friday. I can't give you time, but it will be on Fridays. So if you want to be nominated for that, you can also hit me up at on my Twitter page. If you can't hit me up on my Twitter page, I have my email address, which is holiday1925@gmail.com. Again, it's holiday1925@gmail.com. So if you're trying to figure out when I do shows, basically I do shows Tuesdays and Thursdays, and also Fridays. Maybe I could do shows on Mondays. It all depends on what the content is, what's going on in the HBCU world, or what's going on in sports world that's sports related or that's society related, dealing with Black college. So if you want to check it out, or you want to check out other shows that I've done, just go ahead and click on the link and subscribe to the page. But anyway, what we're going to get into today is this happened last Friday, but I want to get into it today, and it is the big shakeup with college football. So we're talking about UCLA and USC wanting to make their way to the Big Ten in 2024. So they got 2 years left, and they also got permission from the conference to make that move. Now, why would we ask about what is the significance about them making this move? To me, basically, and it's all, everybody's been saying this is all a money grab. This is a power play. This is to get that TV money that they couldn't get in the Pac-12. They couldn't get in the Pac-12. They want that TV money. And not only that TV money, they want they already had the exposure. They want even more exposure for the schools. And we're talking about two preeminent college football teams that name basically resonates. So when you talk about UCLA, you're talking about the baby blue with the gold. You're talking about players like Troy Aikman coming from there. Who else? I can't name too many of them off the top of my head, but if you know if you know them, put them in the comment. But you also got USC. You know, you can bring everything off from USC. You got Matt Leinart, you got Charles White, you got Reggie Bush, you got Mike Williams, you got LiQWYD White, you got Ronnie Lott. Everybody that's USC, that's prominent with USC, I feel like they understood what the move was. They wanted to get back on top, you know, get back on the map. And to me, the con about it is basically you're talking about two California schools in which the closest Big Ten school would be either Iowa or Nebraska. So they have probably like a 1,600 mile trek to get to the closest Big Ten school. So they basically would have to travel to the Midwest, basically, you know, and close to the East Coast when you got Rutgers, which is in New Jersey. You have Penn State, you have Indiana, you got Ohio State, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, you have Indiana, you have Purdue. Give me a name. You got Northwestern, you have Iowa, Nebraska. You have those schools right there that's imminent in that conference. And so basically it's that to me would be like the only con, unless they do the conference in either a East or West, or they can scrap it and do it in a pod system. And if you haven't noticed what a pod system is, it's kind of like basically what the NFC and the AFC does in the NFL, where they have the AFC North, South, East, and West. So they will break it down into that. In college football, it hasn't been done like that since Conference USA or either the Mountain West. So it hasn't been done in that way for over 20 years. I see it being that way. That way it will accommodate most of the two California schools to where they don't have to travel cross country to get to a game. Another con is like the Big Ten like to play their games in the morning. They like to start their games off at like 11 o'clock in the morning. So what that looks like to me, that makes it obvious to where they could change it up to where they can start the games at like 3 or 4. And I feel like, in a sense, when it comes to the Big 12, I mean not Big 12, but to the Big 10, that I don't want to wake up on a Saturday morning and have them watch, you know, get up early in the morning to watch a Michigan game, you know, at 11 o'clock, to where I would rather watch it at 3 or 4 or even at prime time. You know, to me, I feel like the Big Ten should get with the time as far as the times go with playing a football game. Another thing, the pros to this is basically, like I said before, it's the money, it's the TV money that they would be getting whenever the Big Ten signs the contract, the media contract in the next year or so. So if I'm those two schools, I'm basically looking at it like, look, man, if they sign this deal, which apparently is going to be over $1.1 billion, and it's guaranteed that each school is going to get $100 million each, I'm all in for it. I'm taking that TV money and I'm doing what I have to do to build up my athletic program. The money goes towards the athletic program. Also, you put all the content, because you have the Big Ten Network, all their content like football, basketball, baseball, everything is on their network. It doesn't, they don't have to have somebody say, well, you can't put your football games on the network because we want to put it on this network. No, they put everything on that network, on the Big Ten network, which is a good thing, which is a great thing, and they keep all the money. So I'm looking at, if I'm UCLA, USC, I'm looking at that, I'm like, hey, that is candy coming to it. That is like a early Christmas present for us. So I'm looking at it to basically get into that. What does it do for recruiting? To me, I feel like it does recruiting, like where if the Big Ten, they can tap into the California market as far as coming in California, getting kids to recruit. UCLA, the two California schools, they have the LA market, to recruit the LA area and other areas around. To me, like going to the Midwest to get offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and you got your skill players coming from California, coming from Texas. Like they have that region. Another thing that really got me as far as the Big Ten grabbing these two schools, as far as that, is the TV markets. So LA is the second biggest television market in the United States. The Big Ten will have that market, TV market, in the United States. That is a huge market. Not only will they have that market, they have the Chicago market, because you have Illinois, Northwestern, you have the Wisconsin market, you have Nebraska and Iowa. So they will be kind of included in the Chicago market. You have Indiana, you have Penn State, which will have the Philadelphia market. You have New Jersey, which basically they have the New York market, the New York, New Jersey market, TV market. That is the biggest market in the United States. They have that. Anywhere you go, it's going to be about the Big Ten. It's going to be about the Big Ten. So what this does for the other conferences, mainly the SEC, and then I get into what it does for the Pac-12. For the SEC, it tells the SEC, you gotta raise your game up. You gotta get your game up, player, because we coming after you. And it's basically, Big Ten is playing chess while the SEC is playing checkers. And what I mean by that is that the SEC signed their TV deal for a longer term, to where now the Big Ten can access that, they assessing it, and basically they can look at it, well, hey, I'm gonna sign my deal in the sense of how the NBA signed their deal as far as for their players and stuff like that. I'm gonna sign my deal, bigger money, shorter time, because I want all my money. I'm not about to be locked in for a 15-year deal and you're still giving me almost pennies on the dollar. I'm not gonna do that. So that's the reason why that's what I mean by saying that the Big Ten is playing chess and the SEC is playing checkers. What does this mean to the SEC? The SEC really doesn't mean anything, because in 2024 they're about to get Texas and OU. So what they get is the Austin market, and they also get the Oklahoma City market, which are not two big markets. But with the SEC, for Texas, they can tap into the Dallas market. They can get into the Houston market, even though Texas A&M has the Houston market, because Texas A&M is closer to Houston by proximity. So they have those markets right there. Will the play of the SEC be any better when you add those two schools in? We don't know. We would know. We wouldn't even know what the play be when adding UCLA and USC to the Big Ten. We won't know until 2024. So that is to be said. But what does this mean for the Pac-12? This means that you got poached by your two schools. They are your two flagship. They are the two schools that helped start the conference. Got poached by another conference that's trying to create a super conference. Because I feel like the Big Ten is not done getting schools to come in to come into the conference, and I'll let you know what I mean by that. So what does this mean for the Pac-12? This means that you just 10 years ago, you let Colorado and Utah into the conference, and that for 10 years they were your your easternmost schools, but I feel like they haven't gotten they haven't gotten a fair shake in what was going on with the conference. So now you're looking at those two going somewhere else. You're also looking at maybe Oregon State, Washington going somewhere else. You also forget about the Arizona schools, Arizona State. We don't know what's going to happen with them. And then you got pretty much your Pac-12 Ivy League schools, which is Stanford and California, UC Berkeley. Don't know what's going to happen with them. So just by having this happen, it's going to reverberate with the other schools. So now it's either you gotta save your conference and bring some other schools in to replace these two schools for 2024, or your conference is gonna perish because everybody's gonna be going somewhere else. You don't want that to happen. It's basically what happened with the Big 12. I take that back. Not even the Big 12, the Southwest Conference. So the Southwest Conference, if you kind of understand college football, is basically they broke up because they had so many allegations. They had so many schools on probation. That conference was bad. It was a good old boy conference basically, but they broke up. They only took 4 schools to merge with the Big 8, which was Baylor, Texas Tech, University of Texas, and Texas A&M. So the other schools that was left with the conference: Rice, Houston, SMU. I'm forgetting another school. It's on the tip of my tongue. But those other schools, they were nowhere to put them at. So they had to fend for themselves. And also, from what I heard about it, Texas did not want SMU in the conference. They didn't want them because they felt like it was bad for them, but I don't think that's bad. So they ended up choosing Baylor instead of SMU. To me, I felt like that was a bad idea because if you didn't take SMU, you don't have the Dallas market. You don't have the Dallas-Fort Worth TV market, which was a dumb idea. So now it's kind of paying. They're kind of paying for it over 20 years later, with basically UT and OU leaving to go to the SEC. They also had Texas A&M go to the SEC, Missouri go to the SEC. It was a bad look. So you had those 4 schools, you got those 2 schools that went before, then you got another 2 schools that's going. Now they have to go and find other schools to come in. So they ended up bringing West Virginia in, which was a good look. Even though that was the furthest any team would have to travel, which was to West Virginia, Morgantown, West Virginia. But now you have to poach out Cincinnati, BYU, University of Houston, which you should have took in the first place. And what's the other school? Is drawing a blank. I think it was Central Florida, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to post schools from another conference. Now this other conference got to post schools from another conference, and this school had to go. This conference had to go get teams from another conference, and you see how that goes, where it's there. Everybody's playing this musical chairs of conference realignment. So that is what the landscape looks like as far as for the big Division I schools. And basically the only one that's been talked about, but nobody has it kind of cracked the egg over it, which would be Notre Dame. Notre Dame is basically, they feel like they said they got their own TV network. As far as when it comes to football, they feel like they're set. But I feel like if they go to the Big Ten, I don't know if they will be able to keep their network, and basically they get extra money. But to me, it's with Notre Dame, it's a big war between the Big Ten and the ACC, because remember, the ACC is Notre Dame, where Notre Dame had their other sports set, mainly basketball, which is in the ACC. So that's where they play. That's their conference affiliation for all other sports. But for football, they are independent. To me, it's like basically it's a reverberation of everything that's going on. So. Now, let's get to how this would affect the SWAC and other HBCU conferences. To me, this affects the SWAC by mainly one thing: TV money, the TV rights deal, media rights. I'm sorry to say this. I know I'm a SWAC guy, but the SWAC, y'all fumbling the ball with y'all negotiated the deal with ESPN. They lowballed y'all. Point blank, lowball. I feel like that we could have went somewhere else and got this done, the TV deal done, for more money, less years, so that way when this deal is done, we can negotiate another deal to make more money and kind of keep the same years on top of that. We fumbled the ball as far as negotiating their deals. So to me, I feel like the SWAC gonna have to pick it up. They're gonna have to step up, or they're gonna be left behind. And that's for all HBCU conferences. They're going to be left behind. You see, the MEAC is struggling. The MEAC is struggling with only, 17? You were close to losing Howard to another conference in FCS. You already lost North Carolina A&T. You lost Florida A&M. You lost Bethune. Who else did you lose? Hampton. You lost 4 schools in a matter of like 2 years. And what are you going to do about it? To me, I feel like your southernmost schools, which would be South Carolina State, which would be not like A&T. Who else is in the conference? I don't know who else in the conference. That's shocking to me. But the way if I feel like it, you're gonna have to join the SWAC. I feel like South Carolina State could join the SWAC. I feel like Tennessee State could join the SWAC. To me, Tennessee State, basically, the OVC is about to be dead. It's dead. It's hanging on by a thread on life support. So I feel like those two schools can come and bring 14 teams and, basically make it a HBCU super conference. Take away the Celebration Bowl and put us back in as far as the FCS playoffs go. We all brag about wanting to play, we can beat these other teams out of other conferences in FCS. Put your money where your mouth is. It's time to get it done. So this is gonna basically, I feel like this is gonna basically shift the FCS and kind of like saying that we have to kind of preserve what we have because we don't want to we don't want to be like our counterparts in FBS where there's so much moving and shaking, uncertainty, anything like that. We don't want to have that happen. So they feel like they need to preserve what they have. And I feel like they kind of need to preserve what they have too. So, to me, I feel like the SWAC need to go ahead and get the ball rolling and kind of get somebody that understands TV deals, TV rights, trying to make sure that the schools get the necessary money that they need. I won't say $100 million for each school, but I would do a deal for 5 years and probably like $400 or $500 million. Each school probably get $50 million each. You never know, or $30-something million each. That would help the athletic program immensely for the SWAC. So I feel like that kind of needs to be done. But at the end of the day, college football is basically turning into the Wild Wild West. That's all I got to say about that. It's turning into the Wild Wild West, and people, schools are going here, going there. They're trying to survive. They're trying not to perish. They're doing what they have to do in order to survive in this world, in this parody that we call college football. So to me, I like I said, the Pac-12, either they need to bring in teams to help preserve their conference, or the schools that you have, the schools that you have, they're going to get poached by other conferences. And basically, you won't have the Pac-12 anymore. You won't. To me, I feel like you don't have the Pac-12 now because of the simple fact that you lost UCLA, USC. That is something that is a shock to everybody in CFB. So, I feel like you lost that already. And like I said, the fallout is basically college football is turning into the Wild Wild West. It's turning into basically, I need to take care of me and mine. I can't help nobody else. I'm gonna help me and mine, but I can't help nobody else. That's what it sounds like, but that's what the fallout is for college football today. Again, as far as everybody know, if you want to be interviewed, if you're a coach, if you're an AD, president, or anybody that's in the HBCU realm that wants to be interviewed by me and be on the show, basically you can hit me up at Twitter at HBCU_overdrive. That again, it's HBCU_overdrive. If you want to nominate somebody for my segment of Friday Flowers, just do the same thing, or you can hit me up at holiday1925@gmail.com and send me the person that you want to nominate and all the other information, and basically I will get that ball rolling and get it on the go. And like I said, if you like what you see, just like the show, and comment what you want to see on the next show and what you want to see later on down the line. Share the show with your friends, but most importantly, just subscribe to the show. More subscribers will basically help boost the channel, the show, and the channel immensely. That will help me. That will basically raise the platform of this channel, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this right now. It would be something small and something minuscule, but all the help, all the basically the help is much greatly appreciated. I appreciate everything that everybody done for it. If you wanna, I haven't even done this. If you wanna donate to the channel, I'll put my CashApp. I'll put my CashApp handle at the bottom. So if you want to donate, just you go ahead and donate to the channel. This is not for me. This is not for me personally per se. This is to help the channel grow. This is to get equipment. This is to get anything that's going to help it grow, because I want to be able to bring my content to you and let y'all enjoy my content. My shout outs is basically, I want to shout out to, like I said, I'm shout out to my wife, because without her, she wouldn't let, without her, I wouldn't be doing this. And she is a big supporter of me doing this. I'm gonna shout out to my little bro, my brother-in-law, JJ, man, because he's helping me basically getting the channel to be more exciting, more prominent and stuff like that. And also look out later on down the line, look out for a new intro. So let's get a big up on that. My bro, like I said, my bro JJ, he's helping with that, and I ain't never gonna forget him, because I'm gonna rock with him to the end. I'm gonna shout out my mom and shout out to my kids, because without my kids, I wouldn't be doing this for them. And I want them to understand that just because I'm not that prominent like that, you could be able to do this right here and show you how to do it, starting up from the ground up. I'm starting from the bottom, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this from my living room / kitchen, but in the end, it's gonna be much more. And it's like what I say, it's a slogan that I go by, a slogan that I live by. It gets greater later. So if you want to understand what that means, kind of read into it. But until then, this is your boy Doc Holiday with another episode of HBCU Overdrive, and I'm out. Peace.